Is it possible that 1 cup a day of something natural could help you burn more fat, stop your cravings, and feel more energized without the crazy side effects of drugs like Ozempic? In this lesson, I'll share with you 5 powerful drinks, each backed up by human research that support appetite control, metabolic health, and sustained weight loss, and even works better than Ozempic. Drink 1 cup every single day. Let's start with the first drink. The first drink is the Metabolic Igniter, and it's coffee, but it needs to be the right coffee, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Coffee is naturally thermogenic, meaning your metabolism burns more calories throughout the day, even at rest after you drink a cup of coffee. Coffee stimulates the central nervous system, increases adrenaline, and increases fat burn, especially when you have it on an empty stomach. Coffee's most powerful polyphenol is called chlorogenic acid, in other words, CGA. And CGA tells your body to burn fat. This is the same mechanism that statin drugs use to lower cholesterol without the potential side effects of statins. CGA cuts cravings, suppresses appetite, and activates the liver, which is a very important detoxification and fat loss organ, to function better. CGA also helps your liver process fats more efficiently and lower inflammation inside of your body. Coffee also helps with blood sugar imbalances, which lead to sugar cravings, carb cravings, and weight gain. The effect of this blood sugar balancing act by CGA inside of coffee decreases risk of metabolic syndrome and diabetes by inhibiting the growth of new fat cells. Working together with the caffeine in coffee, CGA helps to reduce belly fat by increasing the number of fat cells that are used for energy. It even works while you're sleeping. A Norwegian study found that individuals who drank high CGA coffee dropped 3 times more weight than those who consumed lower CGA brews. You want to make sure your coffee is organic and it is a medium roast. Once the beans are roasted beyond medium, like a dark roast, for example, it loses about 75% of these fat-blasting polyphenols, CGA. My favorite source of coffee is going to be from Purity Coffee, and you could get a bag of Purity Coffee for 15% off over at ketocampcoffee.com and use the coupon code KETOCAMP at checkout. A couple more studies here on coffee show that when you drink 1 cup of coffee every single day, it actually increases your metabolic rate by 11 to 13% in lean individuals and around 3 to 8% in overweight and obese individuals. We know coffee suppresses your hunger hormone ghrelin as well. And a really cool 2022 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that coffee increased resting energy expenditure by 150 to 200 calories per day and improved fat burn, especially when consumed before a workout. So simply drink 1 cup of organic medium roast coffee per day. Avoid adding any sugars or flavors or any creamers, and you'll get these benefits. Let's move on to the second cup that you want to drink every day, and that's going to be what I call the belly fat shredder, green tea. Green tea contains a compound called catechins, which, when paired with the caffeine, create a synergistic fat-burning effect. It enhances thermogenesis, which is your body's ability to burn calories, reduces visceral fat, the fat around your organs, and improves insulin sensitivity. There's actually a study that I'll show here on the screen for those watching on YouTube that showed green tea actually targets belly fat. The study showed the following results. Data were analyzed using per protocol samples of 240 subjects. They had a catechin group, which included 123 people, and the control group with 117 people. Decreases in body weight, body mass index, body fat ratio, body fat mass, waist circumference, hip circumference, visceral fat area, and subcutaneous fat area were found to be greater in the catechin group than in the control group. They also saw improved blood pressure and improved cholesterol levels. Another study from the Obesity Reviews, a 2009 study, showed that green tea catechins plus caffeine led to significant reductions in body weight, waist circumference, and BMI. And another study in the Journal of American College of Nutrition found that green tea boosted 24-hour energy expenditure by over 100 calories per day. So you want to get an organic, clean source of green tea. It could be matcha green tea or regular green tea, and drink it with water, or I should say hot water, 1 cup a day. Avoid adding any sweeteners, and you could add some lemon to enhance the catechin absorption. The third drink that you want to consume is what I call the glucose stabilizer. This is apple cider vinegar and water. Apple cider vinegar slows digestion, blunts blood sugar spikes, and enhances insulin sensitivity. 3 key drivers for craving control and fat burning. Apple cider vinegar contains a short-chain fatty acid called acetic acid. This active compound improves glucose uptake by muscles and suppresses fat storage genes. When you consume a cup of apple cider vinegar, which is a cup of water and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar 30 minutes before a meal, it reduces that post-meal glucose and insulin spike, promotes satiety, and helps you break down that meal more efficiently. It also could reduce fat accumulation in the liver. A 2007 study in diabetes care showed that 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before bed, for example, reduced fasting blood sugar by up to 6% overnight in people with insulin resistance. And a 2009 study, which was a Japanese trial, found that participants consuming 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar diluted with water daily for just 12 weeks lost more body fat and inches around the waist compared to those who didn't. Another really cool study from Diabetes Care showed that apple cider vinegar before a meal blunted that postprandial glucose response by 34%. So you want to grab 8 ounces of water, add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with the mother, the organic variety, mix it and drink it with a straw 30 minutes before a meal and or right before bed to get these benefits. The fourth thing you want to drink is what I call the hidden appetite hack: water with minerals. Dehydration and electrolyte imbalances, especially magnesium, sodium, and potassium deficiencies, can actually mimic hunger and slow fat loss. Hydrating with electrolyte-rich water supports optimal metabolism, mitochondrial function, and craving control. A 2010 study in obesity found that drinking about 2 cups of water before meals with electrolytes led to a 44% increase in more weight loss over 12 weeks compared to those who didn't pre-hydrate. So you want to get a cup of water and add in some electrolytes or minerals or organic unrefined sea salt and drink that first thing in the morning and before your meals. This is also great to support intermittent fasting and keto for those who practice those tools. This brings us to the fifth thing, which is what I call the thermogenesis booster. It will be ginger and lemon water. Ginger activates brown adipose tissue, which boosts thermogenesis, reduces inflammation, and supports insulin resistance by lowering your insulin levels. Lemon supports liver detox, enhances bile production, and improves insulin sensitivity. A 2012 study, which was a randomized control trial in metabolism, found that 1 gram of ginger powder in hot water increased the thermic effect of food by 43 calories and reduced hunger in overweight men. Another study in phytotherapy research showed that ginger helped reduce waist to hip ratio and fasting insulin levels after just 12 weeks in obese individuals. So what you want to do is grab a cup of water and include a few slices of fresh ginger with hot water, squeeze in juice from half a lemon, drink it warm first thing in the morning or after your meals to get all of these benefits. I'm going to get to some of the most common questions that I get asked on this topic. Before I do, I have an ebook which is going to be great for burning fat. You could lose up to 10 pounds of fat in just 7 days following the 3 easy steps in this Burn Fat ebook. You could get it for free by scanning the QR code on the screen or going to burnfatbook.com or going to the link in the notes of this video/podcast and clicking that down below. It'll take you about 15 minutes to read, follow those steps, and you'll start to burn fat. Let's get to your questions. Can I combine these drinks in a single day, or should I pick just one? I would say you can combine them throughout the day. The apple cider vinegar should be a staple here. The lemon and ginger water should be a staple here. And the minerals with the water should be a staple. But the coffee and the tea, I would say to choose either one. You don't want to have too much caffeine. So whether you're a coffee drinker, choose that. If you prefer the green tea, choose that instead, but you can have them all in a single day. Next question is, what's the best time of day to drink each of these for maximum fat burning effects? Well, for the coffee and the tea, that's going to be in the morning on an empty stomach. For the apple cider vinegar and the lemon and ginger, that could be around your meals. And for the water and the minerals, that's going to be on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Next question is this: will drinking these interfere with my intermittent fast? Will it break my fast? Absolutely not. Actually, they will all support a fast. So you could have them in a fed state, in a fasted state. It doesn't matter. You will benefit either way. How long do I need to drink these consistently before I start seeing results? You're going to actually notice less cravings, more energy, and more fat loss within a matter of days when you drink these on a daily basis. Can I add stevia, monk fruit, or honey to these drinks without ruining the benefits? Honey, I would not recommend, but the stevia and monk fruit or xylitol, erythritol, those are safe. I would avoid artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose. Those are a no-go. How do these drinks compare to Ozempic or GLP-1 meds in clinical research? Well, we know this. These Ozempic drugs, GLP-1 drugs, can cause some weight loss, but a majority of that or a portion of that could be muscle loss, which is not good. And there's a lot of crazy studies and reports coming out showing that Ozempic and GLP-1 drugs create muscle loss, what they call the Ozempic butt, the Ozempic face, organ issues. I much rather go a natural route by drinking these drinks I outlined versus a medication. What should I avoid eating or drinking while using these drinks for weight loss? In general, if your goal is to burn fat, have more energy, and suppress appetite, you want to avoid eating processed carbohydrates and just too many carbohydrates in general, and you want to avoid snacking and grazing. The focus of your meals should be protein and fat, and no snacking and grazing in between meals, because you're going to raise glucose and insulin with carbs, and with snacking and grazing, protein and fat will not have that issue. And protein is very satiating, suppresses your appetite, helps you build lean muscle mass, which helps you burn fat, supports your metabolism. So I would say a low carb approach with high protein, high fat. Again, that free ebook that I shared with you earlier over at burnfatbook.com has it all outlined for you. I hope this was valuable for you. Please share it with somebody you know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you love this lesson, you're going to love a previous video I just released a few days ago on what took me 40 years to understand when it comes to health and weight loss. I share 5 key ways, key principles to apply to burn fat, live longer, and feel good. Check out this clip. I'll see you in that video. You might see me here as a physically healthy person who's lean. This was not my life for 20 plus years. I was obese physically, mentally. My metabolism was destroyed. I was heading down a path of diabetes, autoimmune conditions, and I was hopeless and lost. You can see some photos right here if you don't believe me. These are photos of me when I was